happening, everybody? Welcome to Hustle and Heart presents Get It Out series where we give you real talk from real people out here living life for real. I'm your host, William Hustle, and I'm here with my big brother, Big Pat.
That's right.
And we're continuing this Get It Out series. On this episode, we'll be talking about grateful in hard times. So let's get it. So big brother, this is what we decided to do was we started taking a topic, and that's what the show is going to be on. So we're going to give it back and forth to give a little bit more of ourselves.
Sure.
So before we get to our motivational quote of the day, what made you decide to want to talk about being grateful in hard times?
Well, I think sometimes, life always throws stuff at us constantly. It's never exactly how we'd want it to go.
Yes, sir.
But there's some of us who have really overcome some huge obstacles in our life. And we allow that to get overshadowed by just some, you got some dips in the road. You're going to have some highs. You're going to have some lows.
Period.
But I think your ability to be grateful just for the fact that seeing how far you've come, and then with your gratitude, you're able to, you're aware that you're going to have bad days, but with being grateful and having an optimistic outlook and being thankful for life, just a new fresh start each new day, it allows you to know the better days are on the way, even in the worst.
And it might be hard for those to see the light when all they're seeing is the storm. So it's our job to try and get them to see the light. That's the whole purpose of our show. That one over that hump, I know it's not as bad as it seems right now.
Right.
Which gives you a better feeling in the inside. So before we get started and dive all the way into it, let's get started with our motivational quote of the day.
Quote of the day. All right. So this is from Melody Beattie. Gratitude unlocks the fullness of life. It turns problems into gifts, failures into success, the unexpected into perfect timing, and mistakes into important events. Gratitude makes sense of our past, brings peace for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow. It's good stuff.
Well, you always giving good stuff. Being grateful, man. At times, coming from where I come from, a lot of times, a lot of us don't believe that we all say, we thankful for God and everything, God do for us. So this is the things that a lot of spiritual people are grateful for. But it is hard for them to be grateful for things in life that they believe they don't have.
Mm-hmm.
Or believe, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like grateful for just having a job.
Right.
Because if your life isn't, or your living arrangements isn't up to what you believe it should be, then that means you either need to get another job or you need to get a better job. So it's hard to be grateful in things because we only see the things in life that we don't have or the wrong that we feel is going on in our life. So what's to be grateful for? I'm gonna dive into the topics because I know you can go in on it right there, but we'll get back to it. But to be grateful means to be appreciative and thankful. But what do you do when life hands you challenges?
Well, as far as the the challenges of life, we're always going to have stuff come at us. It's going to be constant. Our real power is just the ability to see the best through the storm, and try to shelter our peace of mind as much as possible through these things, through
Okay.
these low points.
So let's dive in here. So if a person car goes down and they're wondering just thinking all the like how they gonna get to work, how they gonna do this, how they gonna do that, and
Yeah.
allow that situation to ruin a few days of their life.
Yeah.
What is it that person could have done to see the things that he had to be grateful for instead of worrying and use a negative energy inside your body that we trying to get everyone to understand we don't have to live with.
No, you don't. You don't have to have a reaction to everything that happens, and that's really something that is. It seems like one of the easiest things in the world, but we make it one of the hardest because
that's right.
I mean, we become very simple-minded sometimes, and we become reactionary. We go back to our like caveman Cro-Magnon roots, where it's just all reaction, and you don't have much cognitive thought into things. But I think the real secret, or the secret sauce here, as far as keeping your peace of mind, is just being really strong in your gratitude for not only where you've come from, but knowing that regardless of what happens now, where you're at today, it's never going to be as bad as things were. And you know that these things only last for a certain period of time. So
Yes,
you can see your way through this by being very solid in your foundation, and your gratitude, and your self-love, and your appreciation for just life.
okay, but what about those who are going through some type of struggle
Yeah.
and they can't see anything but the struggle that they're going through, which not everyone, but that they're choosing to go through
Yeah.
because they only can see the struggle.
Yeah, and that's something that when we lose sight of just being grateful for this fresh start each day, when we lose sight of the real gift that a new day of life gives us, because some people had plans for this evening and they didn't make it.
Period.
Some people are going to have plans for tomorrow morning
And won't make it.
They ain't gonna make that. So we really have to try to be mindful, and it's like working out. I just messed my car was having issues the other day, and you know what? You go back to bad habits sometimes, and you lose sight of, man,
I got
a job.
A lot of bad habits, man.
But instead of just saying, hey, man, regardless, let's see what happens with the car. We don't really know anything yet. It might not be that bad. It could be, the guy said it could be a quick fix. It might not, but don't think the worst. Just be grateful that, this might be able to be solved. I automatically went to, man, if it's going to be the other thing, and I'm going to have to get a car. And that's what a lot of us do. We lose sight of what reality is. And then
appreciating.
And we start
being grateful what we do have in life.
Exactly.
And know that if our hearts are right and our minds are right, everything gonna work out. Even when it seems like it's not. It's times it won't, but majority of the times it's gonna work out.
Yeah. And I mean, when you're going through some of these bad moments, some of these bad times, you already have an issue, an event that happens, but then we become these horror directors that paint this terrible picture and put this movie out there about the future that most times doesn't even come true the way that we're perceiving it or thinking it will come true.
Most definite, but that is what the world is built on, putting the movie out there. I mean,
we got to just put the best movie out as possible.
But if you look out into society instead of looking within, I mean, it's like 2020. Everything that 2020 put out there, and so many of us are in such bad positions from 2020, but it's because we were content, and we didn't have a reason to open our eyes more. I mean, so many of us that come from so many different areas, man.
I mean, it could have happened for a reason, though, too. I really think that the universe throws certain things out there to kind of sometimes raise our awareness, or even just have an awakening of sorts. Because
But what awakening do you believe that 2020 was for us?
I think it was time to be introspective, to look within, to do a lot of self growth, as far as, trying to make yourself spiritually healthier, love yourself more, and build those bonds within your family that are really important. And I think my boys and I definitely spent a lot of time together. And I think a lot of families through this, because of the quarantine and different things and different businesses being closed, families actually got to spend more time together through this. So I think that if you really don't look at the silver lining of the coming together of that nuclear family, that bond, that's definitely something to be grateful for. Where you have a world that's just telling us we all need to be doing this, and this.
But what about the families who are starving together? Because a lot of families that, yes, they're able to be together, but they're also starving together,
right?
Because financially, they weren't ready. And it's not that you have to be rich to be ready, but you have to be doing things to not be in a position to where you could possibly be starving because you're not putting enough into your life.
Yeah.
And that's what.
Well, I mean, I think we'll both disagree on different things.
Yeah,
what makes people rich? I think and there's nothing wrong with it, but I think if your whole mindset is just a material thing, like something like money, then there's people that just get money, but they miss the boat on happiness and peace of mind and stuff, and they're never really happy because nothing's ever enough. So you can't be grateful if it's like I gotta have people like that. Yeah, greed. I think you lose gratitude with greed. You definitely do. I mean, you can't. I think it's
some
tough.
People.
I mean, just
some people, but
we're all unique.
You lose a lot when you're starving.
Yeah, I think you really hope that everything that we have to go through, if you do have to starve with your family, it makes your resolve stronger to make sure that you never get back to that point again. There's always drive. There's uncomfortable situations that we all have to go through in this life. And most of those uncomfortable situations are learning tools that we get to use throughout the rest of our life. And wisdom is something to be grateful for, because some people don't get that wisdom. They make the mistake and they're not here anymore. Something just happens, or it's just, we have the opportunity to have made our mistakes, been in very low places, and now we have wisdom that we get to pass along to others.
Sir.
So that's definitely something that we can all be grateful for. The low times, there's definitely something attached to it as far as a lesson.
Yes, sir. And I don't disagree with anything that you're saying, like in no type of way. But along with everything that a person needs to feel, a person can't allow their family, especially if you're able, and you are being woke up every day, then you have to be able to give enough to your life to not have to worry about your family starving.
No, I'll tell you this though, my family. I
don't believe you can see, or feel, or be grateful for anything if you're starving. And I mean, it's really
my family would never starve.
But I'm saying there's a lot of people family starving because they only choose to go work 8 hours a day.
Yeah. But even if I was still in the streets being a drug addict, I'd steal damn food. There would
yes, sir.
I mean, my family would never starve. I guarantee you that.
Yeah, but
even though that's not the way you do things. But
I mean, listen. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do, depending on
you gotta
the
survive.
type of life and environment you living in. I mean,
but you got to survive.
You have to survive, and a lot of people aren't surviving. Is what I'm saying. A lot of people really were already hurting because they couldn't see the things mentally that once upon a time we couldn't see. But now they're hurting even more because of what 2020 threw at us as a people. I mean, 2020 hurt us bad, brother.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely, I know people that have lost their businesses. lost money. But I guess, at the end of the day, and I mean, I haven't experienced the same financial loss or anything else, but I have experienced loss. I know what it's like to lose a home. I know what it's like to lose a family. I know what it's like to, and a lot of these wounds were self-inflicted through addiction. But still, looking back when I was sleeping in the back of my car, and just coming off of crack addiction, sleeping on the back of my car for 3 months. Now, even in my tough times, it's like, shit, look where I was. I was sleeping in the back of I'm there. The gratitude that I have from the places I've been lets me know that everything I went through has served a purpose up to this point. If I wouldn't have gone through that stuff, that struggle, I wouldn't be here right now. And the long and short of it is, it's unfortunate, but we all don't make it. We all don't make it. And I'm a very loving, optimistic person, but I know the reality is that we live in a world where sometimes
we live to die.
That's it.
I mean, seriously, we live to die. Or hard times, just another opportunity for greatness to emerge. If you don't figure it out from the bottom, then you're going to miss something that if you do get going in the right direction, you can be easily taken off your path. And that's something that I had to learn.
Yeah.
I always tried to do things to where I wouldn't fail, but I didn't realize that not truly learning my craft, learning my weaknesses, that it was taken away from me being great. And for all this time, I thought I was such a great at what I do, but I still had to learn that I needed to focus more on my weaknesses to be truly great at what I do. So yes, I do believe that greatness comes out of hard times. And
how do we know? How can we really appreciate success if we haven't had had failure? I mean, if all you've ever known is just that, I mean, I don't really think you become as driven if you haven't had shortcomings, if you haven't had those, if you haven't fallen on your face, because that drives a person. When you know what it's like to not have something, that's a huge drive. And when you have it, then you're more grateful. Then you appreciate things more.
So many of us are being saved by others that they don't see the shortcomings. They don't get to feel what the failure is truly like, because everyone wants to save that person.
You mean enabling them?
Yeah, and not allowing them to.
Yeah, you have to. My brother, unfortunately, was. I love my brother to death. My younger brothers had some issues, but my dad and stepmother, they, and they'll admittedly say this, that enabled to a point where he never really had the initiative to want to change.
Right.
Because he was always allowed back in. He was always allowed back in their home.
Yes, sir.
And it never caused him any need or cause to want to change that behavior. So you're absolutely right. When they're not allowed to experience those hard times, bad behaviors definitely get not only reinforced, but they become a way of life, because there's no repercussions. Why should they change if you can go out and shoot somebody and then you're not going to go to jail? Why the hell are you going to stop?
Because your parents going to save you, like someone's going to save you.
Right.
That's why I get on you at times too.
Hey, I send out. Here's the thing though that I've found out, because I thought that there was a while that when I first got into this, my spirituality and things were just clicking, that I thought, I'm never going to be bothered by anything bad again, because I'm on such this high place that I can't be touched.
You're supposed to think like that.
But I was silly. You are supposed to think
that was silly.
It was silly for me because I've always been a very reactionary person, and the more I acclimated back, I was in a bubble there for a while because I went and was living by myself. I was down in Eastgate, but I was alone. I'd just go to meetings and stuff, and that would be about it. It was a very reclusive life. But then as soon as I moved back up here, I'm right back in. My boys are always coming over again, and then we got back into car sales again. And then once I got back into car sales, then there was just, you get the everyday life thing.
You got to find that zone. Man.
Yeah, that was my, and that's always my goal, is to be to a point to where I can just be, not have to be thinking of any expectations. So that would reap me disappointments. Just being able to be set in that day, happy to be there, lovingly. Just, not expecting anything except just whatever comes at me. I know I'm going to be my best self. Mm-hmm. But I get affected by that mentally because I still slip up and I get angry with myself for allowing myself to be emotional.
I don't get angry with myself.
Or disappointed is maybe the better word.
I truly understand that you can have a reaction.
Yeah.
And you got it, you have to get it out. And getting it out is just a couple seconds. I got to get it out. That's why we say, or we have other people that we are, look, I got to get this out. And then it's over.
Right.
It's that simple, but you have to get things out. Literally one time, and it's over. And you keep moving. And I don't like to just consider myself a car salesman. Like, I am in sales. I am blessed to be in sales. And because of that, I am able to try and share how I feel, how I think, and things that I do to stay positive every day, to maximize my life and maximize my hustle, which is a beautiful thing because I don't allow too many things to bother me.
Right.
Because they're not important, or I want to change. It's not that they're not important, but they're not important enough than when I am out trying to make sure I am taking care of all my responsibilities for myself and my life.
It's not important enough to take away from your peace of mind.
Period.
That's it.
And that's another thing that's beautiful. When I was in the streets, it didn't matter how much money I made or took. I never had this peace that I have now, and that's one of the most things that I'm grateful for.
Right.
If I don't wake up, what can I do about life?
Nothing.
As long as I wake up,
yeah,
brother, we can do a lot, especially in the position that we are in the field that we are in, man. And like we say, man, we could just help one person a day, which we do. That's our whole mission.
Yeah.
Because we never know who that one person could be that might heard something, or we might say something, or touch them in some type of way.
Yeah, it's just the only thing you do this for is just that there's still some people out there in darkness, and I'm grateful that I've been able to see my way through. And we both know people that were in that darkness, in that life with us, on each of our ends.
Still in that life.
They're still in that life, and some of them aren't in this life at all anymore.
Right.
And that's the reality of it. There's just you either get busy living or you get busy dying. And
Period, point blank. Got to be tired.
Yeah.
Of being tired.
Right.
Of not truly living like a better life, mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially. You can live a better life.
Absolutely.
But you got to vision it.
And you have to be grateful.
And you have to be grateful when you get that vision. A lot of us let that vision just pass us on by. And that's why we stay stuck.
Well, we don't embrace the good. We
yes,
allow that negativity, the outside chaos in this world to start putting cracks in our foundation. And once you let those roots grow, that just it goes all the way in your mind.
It's back to entertainment.
That's it.
It's back to the movie that's
You're
on
li-
TV.
You're living hypothetical things that probably ain't going to come true, but you're just believing them to be true.
Unless you live in what you seeing, what you vision,
Right.
and what you are grateful for, and doing the things because you are grateful for that vision that you are blessed with. So, we're gonna start to wrap it up, and I just want to give a few of our things, food for thought for our people. Just like food tastes better when you are hungry, heat is more appreciated when you are freezing. Relationships are greater after being lonely. Scars are valued after the lesson is learned. Being grateful in hard times is faith that they'll get better and that we'll be better because of the hard times we faced. Sometimes you just have to hear it simply.
I think you wonder sometimes. We've all experienced loss, and then as we get older, and as some of us change and we become more spiritual, I think a lot of us come to the conclusion that you have to experience loss. You have to know death so that you can really embrace life, because we know we have a finite time on this planet. I mean, we all have a day. Our time clock will get punched at one time, and I mean, each of us have a day when it will get punched. But when you know that, you start to, I think a lot of us, like yourself and me, we become more loving, we become more empathetic, we become more understanding, and we know that there's other people out there that are still suffering. Our gratitude allows us to want to shine a light on all those people out there.
You got to become more living, man.
Yeah.
You have to become more living. I know people that are still living the same life today that they lived 5 years ago, that they lived 10 years ago.
And they'll continue to live that life. That life won't stop.
We won't allow that to happen.
If they allow us to shine a light on them.
Hey,
yeah.
Listen, whether our words go through to them or through some other form, we're not going to allow it to happen. See, I'm putting it out there. If you put the energy out there, because it's several people who are very close to me that I feel that way about. And it was like me once upon a time. I had to be broken down into many forms in order to build myself back up to see who I was meant to be and not who I was being.
Our ability to be grateful goes hand in hand with our ability to love ourselves, because when you're grateful for this life, you have a self-love. You have a feeling of I want to be the best me that I can be.
Period.
And I want to continue to grow, and I want to continue to get better. So it's definitely a subject that I mean, you could talk about it 1,000 different times on 1,000
in 1,000 different ways.
Yeah, I mean, our gratitude seeps through to everything that we do.
Yes, sir.
When we're grateful, we don't allow the negativity to overcome us. When we're grateful, we have others, we have friends, we have a circle that can pull us out of negative thinking. Just like
yes, sir.
You had to kickstart me
we
today.
Got a great circle around us, man.
Yeah. I mean, you had to get me going today, and it netted me a sale, and it was good. So, without that gratefulness, that friendship, that love, a lot of us would stay stuck. But definitely something that we should all try to ground ourselves in.
I mean, most definite, and that's why our mix is different. Because all the things we talk about, I had to go through. But at the end of it all, for me, it was, I don't want to ever have to talk about struggle again on my family. And there's only one way to not do that, and that's go hard.
Right.
By any means. And being grateful for waking up every day and having that opportunity is where it starts with me. And you know what my goal is every single day.
Yeah.
To never bull crap, to never feel like I cheated myself or cheated my family. Because if I do that, I'm cheating everyone else that I could possibly help.
And the ability to keep a positive mindset, you
Yes,
know,
sir.
and not be overrun with.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
Because I don't want to be positive all the time, but I know I have no choice.
you have to. I mean, you have
I
to.
have no choice.
You have to keep looking for the silver lining, because in everything that happens to us, there's definitely a lesson attached.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So you've been listening to Hustle and Heart, where we give you real talk from real people out here living life for real. I'm your host, William Hustle, and my co-host, Big Pat.
You know,
We want you all to understand one of the keys to life of getting it out is being grateful. Find the things you need to be grateful for. And we want to thank you all for listening. For more motivation, go check out our website, William Lyles Today. Stay connected. And remember, when you know who you are, you can be free anywhere. 1.